Hello, everyone, and welcome to Colorado Career Connectors. We are so grateful and happy to see you here today. It is noon Denver time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you might be dialing in from. I see people, familiar faces here, many from the Colorado market. If you are new, we welcome you. We are so happy to have you. Make sure that you introduce yourself to us. Put your LinkedIn profile in the chat for us. We're a meetup community that has over almost 700 people in 9 months. We are known for topics just like what we're going to present to you today. Behind the recruitment curtain, we have 3 amazing panelists and speakers for you today. And as we are getting everyone settled into the room, it is lunchtime in Colorado. So if you are at work, please put us on mute and just listen up to what we have to chat about. But it's hard for speakers to just look at the Zoom monitor all day. We love participation. We love interaction and engagement. Questions in the chat, sharing your LinkedIn in the chat, letting us know how we can help you and what prompted your attendance today. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Wayne. I'm seeing some very familiar faces. Hello, Joe and Nathan and Christina and Joni. Welcome. Welcome back, everyone. I am Chelle Johnson, the founder and CEO of Colorado Career Connectors and Best You Career Advantage. We will be getting started in just a moment. I wanted to remind you that today's format is different than what we've ever done before. We will be going until 1:30 and allowing you the opportunity to meet with our awesome panelists. Again, we're just still letting people in. So nice to see all of Christina and Karen. Hi, Karen. Hi, Jolene. Hi, Cherie. Hi, Bev. Super nice to have all of you. And I'm seeing some people who I haven't seen in a while. Happy 2022. So we will be recording this. It will be sent out to all of the people who registered. We have a YouTube channel that has videos from the past 9 months that we would love for you to subscribe to. Yvette, if you can put that YouTube channel in the chat. There's topics out there on, for example, Lisa Carmen, resume writing, LinkedIn. We have Behind the Recruitment Curtain with many leaders of talent acquisition, HR, talent strategies. I see lots of people in our HR community. Raise your hand if you're in human resources or looking for a role in human resources. Lynette, Joe, Mari. So awesome to see all of you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm seeing 16 people in the chat. That is so perfect. Welcome everyone again. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you and introducing our topics, introducing our new format, and asking all of you, if you can, please come on camera for us. We want to hear from you. We want to see you. We want to be able to engage and interact with you. And let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when all of y'all can see it. That's the wrong, there we go. Can you all of you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay,
that's great.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Our topic today is one of my favorite. It started with a series of topics in 2021. And I was hiking with a friend of mine that's a recruiter. She's now the lead recruiter for a Denver tech company. And she's like, let's do a meetup that shows kind of like the Wizard of Oz, behind the recruitment curtain. And things have changed so much in the past 9 and 10 months that the topics of what we want to present, think about it. Last year, people could not find roles because of the economy, and a lot less positions were opening up. And now it's a candidates market. And so today we have three amazing panelists that I am so grateful to have with me. And it is your market. It's a candidates market. Some of you might be on the phone because you're thinking about being part of the Great Resignation, the Big Quit, the Great Reset. If that's you, maybe put a 1 in chat. Or you're a job seeker and you really want to know what are hot topics, what are recruiters looking for, and how can you fast track your job search? That's my job. I am, if you haven't met me, I know my name is spelled a little bit oddly. It's Chelle. I create talent solutions for small to medium-sized businesses and individuals. I am a recruiter. I am the past leader of recruitment from Comcast Technologies, Lockheed Martin, and other companies like Banner Health and Quest Diagnostics. And 2 years ago, I decided to start my own company because it was kind of like my own big resignation. I felt disconnected, completely burned out and stressed. How many of you can relate to that now? That burnout, that stress, right? So what I do now is I bring communities together. I bring speakers together like who you're going to hear today. I get to create awesome opportunities and positive intelligence and mental fitness for my clients. And I also get to interact with all of you and great speakers like this. I'm lucky enough to work with my director of operations, Yvette Bell, who is a complete rock star and is my second hand. Yvette, do you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about our community, please?
Hi, everybody. I love that I am getting to know some of you a little bit better and a little bit less in the background here, but our community is growing. I think we're almost at 700 members on Meetup, but that does not include all of the wonderful members we have that are just registering directly on our website. And I do encourage everyone to do that. I think we have a lot of great stuff that we're planning to add to it, and you're always welcome to send your feedback. Chelle, if you want to go to the next slide. There it is, cocareerconnectors.com. Go ahead and stay updated there, but also we just added several new community events, which are not hosted by us, but we think that you might like them, and you can see them there. We have a nice little collection. I think there's about 6 listed right now. That's all I got for you, Chelle.
Okay, so Colorado Career Connectors is not just here for job seekers, but if you know, and if you are part of, if you know people who are going to be part of that Great Resignation, those 25 million people that over the 4th.
Chelle, you've been muted accidentally.
I have. Okay. Go with the tech, right? So if you know someone that was part of the Great Resignation, that's part of the Big Quit, that's thinking about what their next step might be, please introduce them and network with them and let them know about Colorado Career Connectors. We are here not just for job seekers, but for professional development and bringing in speakers like who you're going to hear today, and to let you know about community events that the Denver Business Journal is having, that the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce is having, or the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, or just things out there that are about the Colorado economy, that are about what you need to know from a business acumen perspective and as a job seeker. So without further ado, I want to talk a little bit about our new format and today's agenda. We're going to be going until 1:30, and the format is that I will be introducing all of our panelists who have up to 10 minutes to talk about their backgrounds and present their companies, what their companies are looking for. And then once that occurs, we will be jumping into 6 to 7 questions about the hot topics of the candidates market. So there'll be company presentations. And then after that, Megan and Kathy will be staying online with us, as well as Anna, to speak with you in a breakout room. So if you have questions directly for them one-on-one, you will have audience with them. You will have a chance to actually speak with them. What do they think as recruiters? Tell me more about your promotions. Tell me more about how you're making an impact in the Colorado community. So please stay on with us. Please interact and engage with us, because this is really how you grow. And this is how our new sponsors are able to meet with potential job seekers or those that want to just gain knowledge and learn more about what's going on. So without further ado, Kathy, I would love for you to take the reins and introduce yourself, and then we'll go ahead and show your video.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy. I work at Actilent Scientific. We used to be called Aerotech, for anyone that maybe is familiar with that. But I have been with the company for coming up on 18 years. So my first 9 years with Actilent was actually in our Boston office. So we actually support our life science biotech business. And I did in Boston, and then when I came out to Denver, I've been doing the same thing. So it's really just around our scientific life science laboratory business. But we recruit on a contract basis and contract to hire mostly these days. But our focus, as we are a nationwide company, my team does just focus here on positions in Colorado. So I know I've seen a few of you are from other places across the country. So definitely happy to help you connect with some of our offices in places that you live as well. But yeah, like I said, our team really focuses on our laboratory and scientific positions here in Colorado.
Okay.
We have a little video for you.
Yep. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to get out of here and go here. So just bear with me for a moment. And then let me know when you all can see this and hear this.
For almost 40 years, we've been bringing great people and great organizations together. With a history of strong character, service, and a commitment to people's success. When it comes to engineering and sciences, no one bridges passion and purpose like we do. No one understands talent like us. We are Actilent, and we know what it takes to make amazing work happen. We know that it's people, not companies, who solve the big problems. People who cure diseases, who design and build new ways to make the world a better place. It's amazing what people can do, but they can't do it alone. We know that for every person researching, building, designing, and discovering, there's someone supporting them, pushing them, advocating for them. Someone who knows what they value in their career, someone who cares. It's these relationships that connect people to what's possible, that open the doors of opportunity again and again and again. You see, at Actilent, we understand the power of relationships. The way we work is different, not just in the way we serve our consultants and clients, but in the way we work together, the way we treat each other. We understand that when people are cared for, they can be their best, and that's when the best work gets done. We believe in getting to know people and what they want out of life. It's our job to build ambitious careers and make meaningful work possible with some of the most visionary companies around the world. Because in the worlds of engineering and science, with the right people by your side, the right doors held open, and the right team pushing you to succeed, the possibilities are endless. We are Actilent, people to possible.
Oh, I love that. People to possible. Thank you. Okay, let me get out of here and I will stop that share. 1 second.
For almost 40 years, we've been bringing great people and great organizations.
One more time.
Okay, let me go out of here and then I will share my screen again. Thanks everyone for bearing with me on this. Kathy, can you talk a little bit about life sciences and what's going on in the Boulder area and the technology, healthcare, and really, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, so a majority of the companies that we work for here in Colorado are your smaller to mid-sized biotech pharmaceutical companies. Boulder has definitely become quite the hub for the life science market these days, especially since I have some perspective of coming from the East, where I used to do a lot of recruiting in Cambridge, Massachusetts specifically, which has always kind of been, the #1 life science hub. And the last years I've kind of been in the Denver market, I've really seen it grow in the ranks. I think we've actually moved up to almost like 11 or 12 life science market in the country, in Colorado specifically. So it's definitely been a rise. I think people are seeing the value of the candidates in Colorado. Obviously, in the last couple of years, people have seen just an opportunity for a little bit more work-life balance in Colorado. And the companies that are attracting candidates kind of looking to kind of get out of that kind of big city living and still be really involved in some, cutting edge technology and science and opportunities. So it's been definitely an interesting ride since I've, like I said, been here in the Colorado market for about 9 years. So the positions that we typically look for on my team, are anything from your entry level laboratory technician, kind of all the way through kind of your senior scientist level, really focused on chemistry and biology and that sort of thing. So.
All right, thank you. That's wonderful. Next, we have Megan Kennedy, who is a recruiter from Community Medical Services. Megan, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and CMS?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, I want to say thank you to everyone that joined the call today. I'm really excited to answer, any of the questions that you may have regarding it being a candidates market. And I really think the fact that I'm representing a company that hasn't opened our doors yet in Colorado just shows how hard us companies want to win you guys over. It truly is a candidates market. So I've been a recruiter for a little bit over 7 years, worked for a variety of large to small companies. Currently, I work for a company that is experiencing a lot of growth. We are currently in 9 states and expanding into 2 more states this year. So I did provide a little bit of a slideshow that I want to share. Oh, okay. If not, that's okay. It's just a map of our locations. Okay.
Go ahead. As co-host, go ahead, Megan.
All right, perfect. All right, can everyone see? All right, perfect. So with Community Medical Services, what we specifically do is we are an outpatient treatment center for adults that are suffering from substance use disorders. So we do use medication-assisted treatment partnered with one-on-one therapy, group therapy, community outreach, and peer support. It is a little bittersweet, all of the growth that we've been experiencing. Currently, we have around 20,000 individuals in our program, and it's really our hope to get 60,000 individuals in our program in the next 5 years. Unfortunately, that is the number of individuals annually that do overdose from opioid use disorder. So that's one of the reasons, that's kind of on our radar to get that many individuals in our program. We are actually a local company to Arizona, which is where I am speaking to you from today. I try to dress like I was in Colorado, though, and make it look like I was but we've been founded since the 1980s, and we really have just continued to grow in the last 5 to 7 years, expanding into new markets and expanding our presence in existing markets as well. Really looking for individuals that are driven to our vision. Our vision is to eliminate the consequences of substance use disorders in communities. So really looking for, passionate individuals that are looking for an organization where they can make a difference. We hire everything from support staff to project managers to accounting, finance, facilities. So really a large variety of roles. We're very excited. Our first clinic will be opening in Aurora in a few weeks shortly. We have the building. We're just working on the credentialing behind the scenes. So really excited to speak with you guys about opportunities. In terms of, our benefits, all roles with us are benefits eligible after 30 days of hire. We recently have updated a lot of perks just because it is a candidates market, and we as a company as well needed to look to make sure, that we do have things that we're offering that are enticing to individuals. So recently, some of those highlights include giving over $10,000 in gift cards to our employees that have contributed referrals to our program. We were listening to our employees when they said that they want more PTO their first year. So increasing that. So now individuals have up to 3 weeks their first year as well. And of course, always maintaining that 401k match and contribution. That's so important. If you are, interested, I definitely will put our contact information in the website. Our website is a great way to additionally learn more about our company. And we do have a career section, which highlights all of the opportunities that we're hiring for. So I'll make sure to put that information in the chat box as well. And I will stop sharing.
You're on mute again, Chelle.
You know what? Sometimes you just have to laugh, right? I see lots of you shaking your head. So I was just saying, I'm very happy to have Community Medical coming into Colorado. Megan and I met through a group in Arizona, and she was like, "You do Colorado?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So super happy to have you here. The opioid pandemic and just opioid issues are a huge, huge issue. And so thank you for all the work that you're doing there. I want to share my screen again and introduce all of you to our next panelist, who we are so excited, along with Community Medical Services and Kathy's group. Anna is a new sponsor for Colorado Career Connectors. And Anna, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely, thrilled to. So I am a nice adjacent, nice add-on to what you're doing here. So I am not a recruiter. I am actually somebody who helps people who are frustrated with the job search or with their current career, and I help them explore other options. Most of my clients are sick and tired of the career, what we call battered career syndrome. And I work with clients to explore business ownership simply as an option. And I really love being part of these because as you're looking for jobs, I encourage you all to consider all of your options, specifically in the business ownership arena. And what I like is that I provide a free, no cost, no obligation opportunity to explore your options. So I have a sign in the background, I'm not sure if you can see that, it says, "Welcome to the safe zone," and that's what I provide. So my background is similar to a lot of people here. I have spent the past 20 plus years in the field of career transition working with professionals. So I have been a recruiter. I have been a job search coach, an outplacement coach working for Right Management Consultants. If you might have heard of them, big competitor to Lee Hecht Harrison, wonderful work. And about 4.5 years ago, started exploring what was next for me. I knew for myself that working for a company was not the best option. That doesn't fit me and my personality. I attended a workshop coincidentally on something called franchise options and really liked what that person, the coach, had to say. And I realized that what I liked was that he was a coach and he was only interested in helping me figure out what's best for me. And I explored my franchise options and, spoiler alert, ended up with the Entrepreneur Source. So the Entrepreneur Source is itself a franchise. And never looked back. It's been a perfect fit for me. Franchising has a bad rap. And I'm sure most of you saw it, franchising, and you're thinking, yep, McDonald's, Subway, 7-Eleven, not interested. Let me run the other direction. In reality, franchising is, in my mind, I wouldn't be doing this, but is the bee's knees. I think it's a really interesting concept. The concept is you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And what I love about that is that I own my own business. The Entrepreneur Source is a franchise. I get to run it. I get to be a proud, incredibly proud sponsor of Colorado Career Connectors. I'm just so frankly, in love with what Chelle and Duvet have created and are building. It's just an incredible stuff. So I get to be a sponsor, but I'm not by myself. So a little behind the scenes, all of this stuff, most of the stuff you see on my LinkedIn profile, all the marketing is done for me. all of the strategic planning, the training, the finance, the legal, that's all done for me. So that's the concept of being in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And again, I know franchising has a bad rap, and in the past it's been very, very poorly run. It's much better, much different now. And the franchises in our system, only 4% of the couple hundred franchises have anything to do with food. So there's all kinds of industries, 85 different industries. We have things in fitness, kids, seniors, printing, home improvement, home restoration, a huge variety. And what I would love to do for those of you who are actively looking for a job, I would love to be an additional iron in the fire as you're exploring. My only goal ever is to help you figure out what's best for you. There's no cost to working with me. Should you happen to end up in a franchise or business, then I would get compensated. It's very similar to a residential real estate agent. And I know some of you may have worked with real estate agents. Most of them are wonderful, some of them not so much. I like to think of myself as one of the people who are truly only interested in what's best for you. So again, I would love to be an option for you to help explore, just see what else is out there. I help hundreds of clients every week, sometimes every month, and would just love to chat with you, see if this is right. Also, I have a very strong connection to Colorado. I am from Boulder. Very few of you, I'm sure, even if you live in Boulder, were not born there. I was born in Boulder Community Hospital a number of years ago. I won't go into how many years ago that was. And go back there frequently. My dad is still there. Love, love, love Boulder. Love my Colorado clients, because a lot of the franchises I work with are desperate to go into Colorado and other places, but love Colorado because it's just growing. As Megan can attest, it's just growing astronomically, and would love to work with all of you. I will be in the breakout rooms. If you'd like to talk some more, I will put my calendar online, my online calendar in the chat. Unfortunately, I have to leave 15 minutes early, so I won't be able to stay for the full until 1:30 your time, or have to do the math, 1:30 your time. But I will be available, and I am going to be around. I am an incredibly proud and honored to be a sponsor of Colorado Career Connectors, and I'm just so thrilled to be part of this. So thank you very much.
Anna, thank you. So if you haven't gotten LinkedIn with Anna or Megan or Kathy, please do so. That's why we're here. I know I got some messages from several of you that already are. Let's get to the meat and the topic today, which is the candidates market, some of the hottest topics. And so today in our panel, we're going to talk about topics like, how do you maximize your job search? Or what are the best types of things that you can do if you're thinking about being part of that big quit or that great resignation? And so, Megan, I'd love to have you start us off in our panel. And what advice would you give for answering this question?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my advice for an individual that's looking to kind of maximize their job search is to start out with a list. Be specific about what it is that you're looking for, whether it's leaving your current job or what you would be looking in a new job. Hopefully on that list, it will include, if this is something where you desire for the position to be remote or a hybrid environment. Hopefully on the list, it will give you an idea of kind of the organization you're looking for in terms of the number of employees that they have. Maybe flexible hours is something that's important for you, really looking for a company that has work-life balance. I don't think that all job seekers realize that these are filters that you can actually search for on job platforms, especially Indeed. So if you are looking for something that's specifically just looking for remote candidates, if you are looking for something specifically that's hybrid or even part-time, this is something that you can search in the platforms by adding these filters in. So that is something that I would encourage individuals to do if they are looking for a specific opportunity. And then additionally, I would remind them to also set up for those job alerts. You know, maybe those positions weren't on the website that day for the specific company that they've had their eye on, but you can be proactive and set those alerts. So once those jobs do come in, you get an alert, you get your resume in right away. And that really is something that I would like to share as well, just making sure you're being proactive with setting those alerts on those websites. So then the companies are actually contacting you saying, please apply.
I love that. I'm putting some notes in the chat for everyone. Cathy, how about you? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I was, definitely piggyback off Megan. Alerts is the best way to stay on top of it. And then what I've been telling, candidates that are out there is just do your research, like really spend some time. Think about the companies that you may be really interested in working for and what is really important to you. And then specifically, if there's some companies that you are targeting, I've been just recommending outside Indeed and LinkedIn, just doing Google alerts for companies. So if you put out your company name in the Google alert, you'll get an email. You can set up weekly, daily. They'll tell you the news that's going on with the company, anything on any new hires that they've had at like the C-suite level. So kind of keeps you informed about what specifically is going on in a company that you may be particularly targeting.
Awesome, thank you. So as a coach, I help people every day to really think about their job search or how they're going to be promoted. The first thing you have to have is that vision and that purpose and what do you want to do? So that when you do those job alerts or you do those Google alerts, you're very focused in on what you're looking for. The more broad you are, the more things you're going to get and the more confused you're going to be. How many of you have applied to hundreds of positions, or you're like, I don't know who to network, or I don't know what to do, or so? Any hands raised out there with that? Right? So with that, you have to have the right mindset and the right strategy. And so all of these hints that Cathy and Megan are giving you are part of those tactics, but you have to have the right vision and mindset. I also want to talk to any of you out there that are looking for promotional opportunities. The more you can focus in on what your company, how they're growing, finding their pain points, looking for that stretch opportunity, and talking with your manager about it, doing a shadow day internally, or reaching out to hiring managers, talking with your HR team. This is how you're going to maximize your time, your benefits, and your strategy for actually looking for promotional opportunities. So the next topic that we want to chat with you about is, the 5 of us met last week and we were talking, what are the hot topics, or what is coming up for us when we, as recruiters, talk with job seekers or candidates. The feeling of being lost and stressed and undervalued is consistent throughout the past 2 years. And in fact, if you know these feelings, please let us know, interact with us. So Anna, I'd love to hear from you on what advice do you have for folks who might be having these feelings as someone who's in this hot job market right now?
Great question. Things that I find is important to do is a variety of things. First of all, develop your connections, develop the people that you feel comfortable with. If you have fellow job seekers, reach out to them, talk to them. So there's two different things. If you're in a career or versus you're looking, it's so stressful. It's so stressful to be unemployed and to be looking. Even in a hot job market, I understand you still feel like, what's going on for me? So if you're actively looking, reach out to fellow job seekers, talk to them, develop a community. If you are currently working, I encourage you to start doing some research and put your resume out there. I hear again and again and again that I'm not getting any kind of response, or my boss doesn't appreciate me. The other thing that I recommend for the people to do is to create a list of accomplishments. It's great for your resume. Think about those things. have a file of those emails that you've received that people have praised you for. Sit down and do some journaling if that's appropriate for you. But think about what you've done. Think about the successes. You wouldn't have gotten to where you are. I can't imagine any of you on here has never gotten a job, has never worked, has never had any success. So please sit down and remember those times when you were successful and know that you can do that again and focus on your transferable skills. It's also a thing that I hear a lot from my clients is that I am sick of working for other people. I am sick of making a lot of money for other people. I had a client recently tell me, I am so sick of flying around in coach while everybody else, while my bosses are flying in private jets. So I encourage you, again, I'm coming at this from a different perspective. Please understand that, but I would love to help people as you're looking for a job to see if perhaps business ownership is right for you.
Anna, thank you. That sick of working with other people and making money for other people. When I left corporate 2 years ago, I absolutely understood that. You know, I had a very nice salary and perks and benefits. And entrepreneurship is very difficult. That's why the franchise idea, honestly, when you like our synergies work so well together. So back to the question, Megan, what advice would you give on this?
You know, I think the first piece of advice that I would give is that this is a normal feeling, right? Almost everyone has felt this way, especially over the last couple of years. And there has been a disconnect with companies not meeting employees where they should have, just making sure that they were putting themselves first and worried more about being human forward than necessarily the company bottom line. But what I would say is also the list is very helpful. I do think it's great to make a list of your accomplishments so that you can remember when you are feeling, you know, you're in this moment, but especially adding that into your resume. I know as a recruiter, that's one of the things that I'm always looking for when I look at a resume. Is there any accomplishments? Like I want to hear what this person took pride in. So really being able to see those accomplishments works. And especially, you know, if you are in a situation where you do feel undervalued in your current situation and you would like to stay, you're just looking for a little more recognition. Having that list handy makes it really easy to have a more impactful rather than impulsive conversation with your boss, because you'll have already listed out all of the reasons that you feel that you are deserving of a little bit more.
Thank you, Megan. Before we move on to the next topic, that undervalue, I just want to let you know that our next speaker on February 7th is going to be talking all about maximizing your pay. And her name is Denise Levatro. So we'll talk a little bit about that at the end. I also understand, because I work with clients, there's a book out there called Positive Intelligence and a program that we do called this. And it's really about changing that mindset. For those of you who have been to these forums before, these events, you've heard me talk a lot about that. You can listen to the Audible book. You can get the book. It's by Shirzad Chamine. And it really talks about how to decrease that stress and move into much more of a mental fitness where you are more curious, you're more innovative in that knowledge. So Yvette, can you put the link for Positive Intelligence and maybe a link for the book for our audience today? Thank you. Cathy, I'm going to start with you with the next question. And when we were talking last week in our pre-meeting, the topic of pay came up. And since this is a candidate's market, many of my clients are actually getting 30 and 40% increases in pay, or even doubling their pay. So as a recruiter, and as someone who talks to job seekers a lot, what do you think the myths are around pay? Or just with the topic of compensation, what are your thoughts as the recruiter?
Yeah, thanks, Shelley. I think it is for sure a candidate's market around pay these days. So I think one of the big myths is that, you know, the job offer and the posting is kind of face value. It's what the job is going to pay, and it's just not the case these days. You know, I think it's where I've been telling some candidates to really think about their job search, when they're thinking about maybe leaving or looking for another opportunity, is Indeed has a great salary estimator tool where you can put in your job title, you can put in your location, it'll give you the average of the job, of the postings that are kind of coming through their system and what they're paying. So it's funny, I was telling Chelle, my sister had this pain a couple of weeks ago. She thinks she's not getting paid enough. We put in the salary estimator and realized she should probably be getting paid $4 more an hour. And so it's just like little things like that. And right now is a time where you can be talking to your employers about a raise, especially if you've been there a long time, if you feel like you're underpaid at this time, like it is really difficult to find candidates right now. And if you are doing a great job at your current situation, then now is the opportunity to definitely ask for a couple more bucks.
And to have the positive intelligence and confidence to do that. Megan, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Absolutely, just echoing, that it is a candidate's market. So for those, that are looking for a new position, just asking, when you're having that initial interview, asking the recruiter and really driving that conversation. As recruiters, we want to drive that. So I'm giving you a little bit of a tip. If you're the candidate and you're driving the pay conversation, it does put you in a position where you're able to get more information. And just asking us, saying, I did see that your salary range was listed, given the years of experience I have in this field and this applicable education, I would assume I would be coming in on the higher end. I did want to see, though, if there was potential for that to be raised. I would like to make a little bit more knowing the scope of responsibilities for this role, or what other incentives are you offering at this time? I think that's a really nice way to say, are you offering a sign-on bonus? Or, are you giving employees more personal time or anything like that? I think most employers, that I've networked through our various locations in various states really do want to be flexible. We don't want to lose out a candidate on $5,000. That's not something that we want to lose out a candidate in this market. So just being open to kind of leading that conversation. Sometimes pay can be uncomfortable, but it's important. It's not rude. So don't be afraid, to bring it up and to ask for more clarification on the range.
I love that. It's not rude. Asking for more clarification on the range. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to add another thought that often happens that I recommend for clients is to, if you are hitting up against the top of the range, talk about a career path. And this is what do you envision as a company, what my career path is going to be, and then talk to the hiring manager about what it's going to take. So I'll give you a little insight. My husband works for a company you may have heard of, Facebook, or I guess called Meta now. And he was an associate vice president for his previous company, granted much smaller. And when he's recruited to Facebook, they said, listen, we're going to put you at an individual contributor role. Don't be afraid, but this is the best place to put you. And sure enough, within 2 years, he was promoted now to director, and we're looking at senior director in a period of about 3 or 4 years. So don't be afraid to come in and say, I'm willing to accept this, but let's make sure we have a clear career path, or at least a plan for getting me to the next step. So I highly encourage you to look at that, because you want to go in there and prove how wonderful you are. And once you do that, then the next step and the raises are much more likely to follow.
Great advice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would add into, even getting more detail about asking how that will be monitored, just making sure that if you are moving forward with an opportunity and maybe taking a little bit of a pay cut because there is such great growth opportunities, asking for clarification too in the final interview, that you're really excited to be moving forward with the company and you can see yourself growing into these roles. How will that progress be monitored, and how will you know that your performance is on track?
How will that progress be monitored, and how will you know you're on track? Love it. Thank you so much. We actually do have a question from the chat. Bev, thank you for putting that in. So for Cathy or Megan, recruiters are obviously swamped nowadays. So our audience wants to know, what is your advice on the best way to get your attention? Cathy, why don't we start with you on that?
Sure. So I always tell people that when they're reaching out to recruiters, just to make sure you are there's so many technical and specific recruiters for different industries. So the way to get a hold of your recruiter or the attention is to make sure you are kind of going after the one for the market that in the job that you're all really seeking. So I think obviously a great solid email with an introduction about yourself, and then a follow-up on LinkedIn, adding them and connecting them is always a great way to get, the recruiter's attention.
Megan, how about you?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of making sure that you're able to connect with the recruiter, if you feel that they've been unresponsive, I think I saw that message of, I've reached out to the recruiter, they're just not answering me. I would give a little bit of a grace period. I would send that second message, make sure that you're able to connect with them. And then from there, I would try to leverage your network. See if you have anyone in common with that recruiter that maybe would be able to write an email on your behalf. I have this member of my network. I think they would be a great addition to your team. They were reaching out for a little bit more of information. As Cathy said, they may not be the correct point of contact for that role. It would have been nice if they got back to you and told you that, but there are so many different divisions, they may not always be the direct contact. And then I always recommend too, calling into the company's direct line. That is sometimes the easiest way to find out who's directly responsible for that recruitment, is going to that company's website and just calling the main line. And that's how I've been able to move forward in the interview process for other opportunities when I felt like it was just a little bit lost, like a black hole of an application tracking system.
So lots more questions coming in around that. One of them is from Lynette around the email convention of how to get someone's email address at the company. I have put in email convention for, and then the name of the company, and then it will come up. You can also look in LinkedIn, for example, if you're looking at community medical, you can look up talent, and maybe other HR people other than Megan will come up, and look under their contact information of how the convention of the email is done. So it does take a little bit of research on your part, but there's so many people out on LinkedIn that do have in their contact area, or advice that we've been given before, in your LinkedIn, actually put your email address in the About You section. And so you can also look in that About Me section for those recruiters or hiring managers to find the right email convention. Any other thoughts from anyone on the call that could help with that? Please put that in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and...
Hey, Shelley, what did you say? You said you put email convention in the company's website, or how did you say you did that? Because I've done the other things you talked about on LinkedIn.
In Google, Lynette.
Yeah.
I put it in email convention for the name of the company.
Okay.
And then find it that way.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's move on to the next question. We're hearing a lot about this as well. And there have been several articles out on Harvard Business Review and Fast Company about these topics. My company doesn't care about me, or I hate my job. What should my next steps be? I can't even tell you how many people I talk with on a weekly basis that have been gaslighted, or gaslit, if you will. You choose the right verb conjugation there. That have overstressed, working in companies that are not being as flexible, collaborative, resilient as they're expecting their employees to be. So I want to just talk about what your next steps might be. First of all, have you had a conversation internally about what your needs are and about what is going on with you personally around your schedule or around how you're feeling from a mental fitness perspective? Do you have an employee referral or an employee assistance program where you can get some assistance in that way? If you do feel like you have to leave your current role or that you don't like your job, coming to groups like this, really listening to different podcasts on career advice or career clarity or things like that, listening in to free webinars, or even working with and talking with friends that have just moved, because 25 million people, how did they do it? Don't be afraid to ask for help and support, because the community is out there for you. There's different coaches that can help you. I'm a career strategist. If I personally can help you, that's wonderful. But there's a lot of people out there that can help. So Anna, what are your thoughts on this?
That's great. And probably one of the things I hear the most is that I am undervalued. And one of the things that I like about being a business owner is that you get to value yourself. You get to have control. We call it control of your own destiny. And one of the things that I do, actually, one of the big things that I do with all of my clients, and I encourage you to do this on your own, and I'm happy to again talk with you about it. But the three things that I work mostly with my clients on are, what's that fire in the belly? Why are you looking for a change? What's frustrating you? What's making you angry? Why now? If you're on here, presumably you're looking for something new. What's changed in your life that you're looking for something new? The other thing I talk about is, and I encourage this for every single person, what does an ideal life look like for you? What is it that you would like to change? What are the things that you'd like to keep more of or have the same? What does an ideal life look like for you? I'm a huge, huge believer in being as clear on that as possible, whatever you can do. And the other thing I look at with my clients is, what are your transferable skills? And look at that, because having those three components really make a difference. I don't know if any of you are into the law of attraction, but I found just my clients getting focused on what they want brings it into their lives. And again, maybe franchising business ownership is right for you. Maybe it's not. Way too early to tell, but I encourage you to think about those three things. What's the fire in the belly? What's prompting the need for change? What would an ideal life look like for you? And what are your transferable skills? And I think that goes a long way to just raising up your self-esteem too.
Megan or Kathy, any other thoughts on this question?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say when you're kind of getting to this point, it's really thinking about the why, I also think it's really important to start talking to people in your community, and maybe people you used to work with that left, or maybe not even necessarily left. I mean, they could have even left 5-10 years ago, but really just reaching out to them, and just kind of talking about, next steps or how they kind of pursue their next career. I think it's always good to get outside perspective sometime when you're kind of in this mindset about maybe taking the next jump.
Awesome. I hope that that's been helpful for everyone. We're going to talk next, and Megan, we'll start with you on this one. What are some recruiter pet peeves? Things that job seekers or internal applicants do that really kind of get under your skin?
I think what my pet peeve actually is when there's an appointment scheduled, and this probably goes both ways, right? And the other person just doesn't show up or doesn't pick up the phone, and you're kind of just left wondering, what if we were able to connect and I was able to tell you more about the role? So I think that would be my biggest pet peeve, is when, we have a scheduled time to speak and unfortunately we're unable to connect, and I don't really know the reason why.
Yeah, I'm actually recruiting part-time now. And just to give you an idea, it's so competitive out there that I sent out 17 emails and texts for people to interview with me. I heard back from 7 people. Once those were scheduled, I had 3 no-shows. So if you're on the call and you make an appointment, if you can't make the appointment, please let us know. That's just professional courtesy. Now, I will say the higher mid-level, senior level, that does not happen, but we know it's your market right now. We know that as candidates, you have a lot of different opportunities in front of you. Please do research on the company, know what position you're interviewing with, know our values, know a little bit about, do the research on the pain points. Look at our financials. We have Lisa Leminion on the phone who has given us many ideas on websites where you can go to look up financials. Really understand the business, because the way to fast track your job search or a promotion is for you to actually be the solution to the main problems and obstacles and pain points your company is having or the company is having. So when you don't show up or you don't research or you haven't done your homework, that's actually really bad reflection on you. And it is a big pet peeve of mine as a recruiter. How about you, Kathy?
The pet peeves that we hear the most are just the candidates looking that are reaching out every day, calling every day. And it's not that we don't want to hear from you, and it's not that we can't help, but I think the daily calls for my recruiting team, that's the one I hear about the most, is they, things they want to help and they want to help everybody, but understand obviously it's a very busy time and recruiters are, dealing with hundreds of candidates a week. But, I always tell people, like, rise to the top, set a time with your recruiter on like what works for them to follow up on. Hey, is it okay if I call you, every Friday, or I put a time in your calendar every Friday at 10? Like, even being specific really helps the recruiters like dial in and kind of know that they'll be expecting your call weekly, but the ones that kind of call every day and email every day, and it's definitely a pet peeve because it can be pretty stressful for the recruiters.
If I could add something, and I completely agree with everybody saying, don't forget, karma is a bitch, honestly, not to be obnoxious, but don't forget, and this situation, as wonderful as it is for the job seekers, there is going to be a time when it's not like this. And there's going to be a time where it's going to be an employer's market again. So please, people have long memories. I know several people who weren't polite in the beginning. And I understand right now it's your market and that's wonderful, but treat people professionally, because you never know when you're going to come across that person again, and they may have long memories. And remember how obnoxious you were by not showing up. And because let's face it, not responding, not showing up, that's obnoxious. You guys don't want to be obnoxious. You don't want to be unprofessional. You don't want to have a reputation out there for not responding. Things change. And so this is a momentary, it's great, and hopefully it lasts for a long time, but it's not going to last forever. So please just remember that.
I have so many examples of that where karma has been a bitch, and this person, recruiters have an ATS database. They can look up your name and they can look in the notes section, and the notes section says no call, no show. It also, we look back at past interviews, and if you were late, I have had people getting their hair done while their interview is going on. We all understand COVID has made us work from home. If you have kids, that's totally okay. Let us know. We all have jobs. We all have FedEx people who bring, but maybe if your office is near your laundry room and you're doing an interview, move the place of where you're doing the interview so that that sound of the washing machine doesn't come on. I see a lot of you smiling on this, right? Those are pet peeves. So I love this topic because we just get real. And so we're coming up right on 1 o'clock. I want to continue with our conversation. As soon as we're done with this, we will be having breakout rooms for you to meet with us, for you to talk with us and to get advice. So the next question is, I've been passed over as a candidate for a job or for a promotion. What can I do? Megan, why don't we start with you on this one?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that this is such a great question as well, because the bottom line is that you need to receive feedback on why it was, that you were unable to move forward, whether it was from your own organization or whether, it was an external company that you were applying for. You gave your time, so you deserve that feedback. So making sure, if it's internal, usually that feedback should come from your leader, because you should know what you missed in order to improve in the future, and hopefully make a plan where if you weren't ready for that today, that you could be on a track where you're setting yourself up to be ready for that in the future. If it is, an external opportunity, ask the recruiter. Never stop asking, make sure that you're able to connect and understand. I know we had a, super high level position that was going to be in Texas, and I really like this candidate, but it's not always just my choice. So we did pass her over and we did move forward with another candidate. And I remember she called me and she really wanted to know why she was unable to move forward with this opportunity. And I was able to coach her through the feedback that my team gave me. And I believe she was able to take that advice and secure an amazing position, with Aetna. And she was so thankful too. She reached out to me and all of the recruiters that were able to help her. So just reaching out to individuals and leveraging that feedback, I think, is very helpful either way.
Megan, thank you. Cathy, how about you?
Yeah, so I think for internal promotions that you were passed over for, obviously you have to ask for that feedback, right? You have to ask why. What can you improve upon? Really dig in there. And then I always advise people just to follow up with, whoever you're speaking to, if it's your boss or it's HR, it's, hey, can we follow up on a next step? Can I touch base in 3 months, and have a follow-up time where you can sit down and say, hey, these are the improvements I was told to make. Do you feel like I'm, kind of living up to those expectations and those performances? For if you're working with a recruiter, our job is to get you feedback. So if the recruiter is pushing back and they don't know the feedback, push back on them, because it is our job to get you feedback. And we set those expectations up with our hiring managers so they know that we're going to be calling and wanting that feedback, good and bad. So.
Thank you. I just want to chime in here and say that as a recruiter, I don't get a whole lot of thank you letters, and that shocks me. This is your opportunity. Looking for a job is a job, and sending a thank you letter to each and every person that you interviewed with will put you at the top of the radar. It shows professional courtesy and impact. I know it takes a lot of time. I have a client right now who put in for an HR position. She put in for it on a Friday. She had an interview on the Wednesday. The recruiter moved her to the hiring manager on a Friday. She's very early in the process, but she kept, hey, I saw this article on your company. She just heard back today that she's moving to the 3rd round, which is an assessment, which she has done. That was this morning. She did the assessment. She's already heard back, and she is scheduled for next Thursday to meet with the vice president. So you have to keep in contact. If you've been passed over, I actually do receive, hey, thank you. I understand that you've moved forward in another direction, but thank you so much for letting me know and not having me in the black hole. If you have any advice for me, just as we know, when we spoke about in a pet peeves, if you're late, we keep those notes. We also remember those people that have built relationships with us as recruiters, because we are so inundated right now. We are so busy. Those people who are kind and courteous and that don't call us and email us every day, we remember you. We remember you as silver candidates, or as the second, you didn't get this job, but maybe we have a job coming up for you. So even if you get a rejection notice, send a thank you. So I'm seeing some thumbs up here. Awesome. So let me go back here. Anna, any other thoughts from you on these questions?
No, I agree. Ask for feedback. Here in California, and I haven't been keeping up with the rules because it's been a while since I've been a recruiter, but I know in California, they're very severely limited on what they can tell you. It doesn't hurt to ask. You absolutely can and should ask, say, thank you so much for the feedback. Absolutely agree with what Chelle and everybody else is saying, is keeping on top of them. Thank you letters. Appreciate it. It's a great idea. I actually had a client, a candidate many years ago who would send out, he was looking for contract positions and he knew I did a lot of work with contract positions. He would send out a quote unquote newsletter every quarter, just checking up, just saying, hey, this is what's going on for me. This is what I'm looking, sometimes personal. We just took a great trip to Europe and saw some great stuff. Sometimes, hey, I just finished this terrific project and this is what I did for the company. But always kept him top of mind for me. And frankly, I looked forward to those emails. I loved hearing how he was doing. So if you can do that, develop a database. It doesn't have to be just recruiters, other people you've worked with. Quick couple of paragraphs and just kept that person top of mind. And I encourage you to incorporate something like that into your job search. And don't stop when you have a job. Keep doing it. Keep checking out. Let people know you've got this great new job. Because as we all know, unfortunately, the way the world is, that any job can go away at any time. And so you want to keep up your network. You want to keep talking to people and just find ways to touch base with them.
Beautiful.